Hello, San Angelo, and welcome to the Live Daily News Show. I'm James Bouligny. In news today, San Angelo's Parks and Rec director has retired. A woman was arrested over the weekend for biting off another woman's finger. The Rodeo has announced their music lineup, and we have some early voting numbers. For our interview, Joe Hyde sat down with Leland Lacy last week, so we'll get into that interview after these messages from Jim Bass and Jana Johnson.
Truck Month is on at Jim Bass Ford. Right now, all new 25 Ford F-250 Super Duties are $9,000 off MSRP. Power, performance, and pricing you won't find anywhere else. Our lots are packed, and these trucks are priced to move fast. And once they're gone, they're gone. Get here now to Jim Bass Ford, Houston Hart and Arden Road, or 24/7 at bassbunch.com.
People just don't want a decision. They want a process they can trust. In county court at law, that means upholding the law and applying the law consistently, explaining the rules clearly, treating everyone with respect, and making sure every voice is heard. A judge sets the tone for the entire courtroom. I have that experience, that temperament and calmness to set the right tone. Justice you can trust. Vote Jana Johnson for judge for Tom Green County Court at Law number 1.
Well, hello, welcome to the show. I'm Joe Hyde, publisher and founder of San Angelo Live. It's election season, and we have a March 3rd Republican primary and Democrat Party primary. However, this is Tom Green County, and everyone voted for Trump, so it's all Republicans primarily. I am joined today with a candidate for County Court at Law number 1, judge, and it's Leland Lacy. This is your second time running.
That's correct.
For judge. I just want to start off and you're an Aggie like me. Just kind of give us a 30-second bio.
Okay. Born and raised in the Concho Valley. Went to A&M for undergraduate. Got an ag business degree, Texas Tech Law after that, and then came back home, and I've pretty much been a prosecutor here for my whole career.
So when's the last time you were in Lubbock?
Drove through there to go to Ruidoso here a couple years ago.
You drove through Lubbock to go to Ruidoso?
Did.
That's like a long way around.
Well, we were meeting some family there, and it was just the most convenient route.
You know, I was in Lubbock for the last 2 years, and I will say this. There's two things that I got out of my Lubbock experience. It reminds me of A&M in the 80s.
Really?
Yeah, because Texas Tech is just now catching on, as a major, destination type college or university. And you see the kids are starting to stay there. They'll graduate from Texas Tech and stay there. Back in the 80s, or actually the 90s at A&M, that's when you started seeing Bryan College Station really grow, because A&M graduates would stay in the community.
Yeah.
And I have a kid that went to A&M, and she's still at A&M. She and her husband both went to A&M. They stayed there.
Right.
They don't want to come back to San Angelo.
Well, it amazes me how much they both grown too. Like College Station when I was there, I think was around 45,000 students. Now it's like 70.
I know, 70, 80,000 is crazy, and they're all worried. Oh, if we do this woke stuff, we'll lose some students. I'm like, all right, just lose some students.
Yeah, there's plenty of waiting to get in.
Yeah, there's plenty of people waiting to go to A&M, and Texas Tech too. Texas Tech has really done a good job of marketing themselves, and football is the front porch of any college program, and Texas Tech did a good job this year.
Yeah, they did.
Of course, they cheated. They had to buy their team, right?
Well, that's what everybody's doing.
Of course, that's what A&M did too. Right. And A&M just didn't buy a good enough team, I guess, because I was wishing that A&M would go into, I've been waiting for that national championship.
You and me both.
And I don't think it's ever going to come.
I don't know. With 70,000 students there, we're cranking out more boosters, so we may get some better players in years to come.
Well, what do you think of the NIL? I think it's crap.
I wish they'd level the playing field, because I'd like to see more parity amongst all the teams, more of a competition.
I just think, what was that weird James Madison that made it into the playoffs this year? I never even heard of that team. And they just went out and bought a team, and now they're playoff contenders. The ones that played the Oregon Ducks, I think, in the first round of the playoffs.
Right.
I'm like, they just went out and bought a team, and that's why when I went there, all the athletes stayed in Kane Hall, and they were Aggies. But now they're not. They have no loyalty to the school at all. They're just mercenaries.
Loyalty to the school or the program or the coach that's coaching there either.
Yeah, well, maybe these coaches can build some loyalty, but who knows? I mean, I think they're all in it for the money.
Yeah.
And where the money goes, that's where they'll go.
Well, who can blame them? They may get hurt any day, and be out of the money too.
That's true. That's true. But it's pretty sad.
Yeah.
Pretty sad how I think college football is going to lose some of its audience because of this. I mean, just like the NFL is going to lose a little bit of its audience because of all the crazy stuff it's doing. But
Right.
anyway, sports. What is the county court at law? What is you ran for county court at law number 2 last time. Now you're running for number 1. So obviously you want to be a judge of the county court at law.
I do.
So what is it about the county court at law, kind of what it does and what attracts you to that?
Okay, so your county court at law handles all Class A and B misdemeanors that get filed. They do probates, guardianships.
And don't stop right there. Class A, Class B misdemeanor, I mean, it's not a felony.
Correct. So punishable by jail time only as a maximum offense. Class A is up to a year. Class B is up to 6 months.
And those are for things like DUI and minor drug possession.
Correct. Possession of marijuana, family violence, assault, things like that.
Okay. So keep going. What else does it do?
Probates, guardianships, lawsuits where the amount in contention is under $250,000, and then appeals up from JP court. So small claims that get appealed up, traffic tickets, evictions, things of that nature.
Man, you could appeal a traffic ticket.
You can.
But I'm always guilty. I always wonder, should I appeal it? And the other thing is, I believe the TABC fines or administrative fines can be appealed in the county court of law.
I know they file a lot of cases in our court, lots of misdemeanors such as furnishing alcohol to minors,
Right.
selling after hours, things of that nature.
Yeah. So the state agencies use the county courts at law for those administrative type charges.
Correct.
So,
We probably, in the county attorney's office where I work now, we work with at least 24 different agencies that bring us various kind of cases.
right. So what's your most fun story about a case you had in the county court at law?
Oh man!
I mean, you've been there for what, 19 years?
I've been in the county attorney's office for 11, and then I was in the DA's office before that for
Right.
about 8.
DA is boring. Let's go. Let's talk some county court at law cases.
Oh, you put me on the spot.
I know. I always put you on the spot.
I can't think of any one. I can tell you this, that after practicing law, doing prosecution for almost 20 years, people are crazy. About the time you think you've read everything there is, and you're not going to, you start reading a report thinking, all right, it's another one of these, and then there's some plot twist you didn't see coming.
Right. Well, I was Sheriff Hanna and I we were at the Pachyderm Club yesterday, and we were talking about some stuff. He goes, "Have you looked at our jail log lately, or the jail booking thing on the Tom Green County Sheriff.org?" I said, "No." He goes, "Go look at it." He goes, this town is going crazy, and part of it is we have a lot of ice holes in there that people don't talk about, which we need to start talking about, the ice holes that are in there, because and if you look at the federal docket on Pacer for the Northern District of Texas, primarily in Abilene and San Angelo. In Abilene, they have here we have Eden, but they have a federal facility near Abilene up there. There's a whole lot of new prisoner petitions for aliens. Trying to basically, I would assume it's left-wing lawyers who are trying to get the aliens released out of custody.
Interesting.
And so that has exploded the docket on the Pacer, which is that's where the federal, you see all the federal court cases. And if you look at some of the names that are in the Tom Green County Jail, they're like, look like they're from Afghanistan,
Right.
Pakistan, Russia.
It's not just Guatemala and Honduras. And
No, the Spanish names are still there, but now they're joined with like every other nationality.
Right.
So they're like really cleaning things up. ICE is working hard here, but we don't hear about it because we're not Minneapolis.
Right.
All right, let's talk about marijuana.
Okay.
Big thing that people want to do, and I realize a judge. I mean, you have to adjudicate the law. You have to read the law, and you have to interpret the law according to what the statutes say.
Right.
But it's also, back in the day, I remember sitting in the Chief Frank Carter. He was the police chief before Travis Griffith. I was sitting in his office with all his assistant chiefs, and we were just shooting the bull, and I said, they're pretty much going to legalize marijuana. They said, it's a bad deal. And I said, why is that? Because this is one thing they said. They said every murder somehow involves the marijuana trade, it seems.
Huh.
A lot of the murders involve the marijuana trade. The other thing was that today's marijuana is very potent. It's a lot more stronger than if you're a baby boomer and you smoked some pot in the 70s.
Right.
You know, that was like weak stuff. Today it's really strong. So it's almost like it's stronger than cocaine or some of the more what they call harder drugs. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, there's a movement afoot to basically completely, if not legalize, decriminalize it.
My thoughts on that. I'm going to leave that one up to the legislature. That's
You're going to be a judge, Leland.
well, as a judge, my job is to interpret the law, to enforce the law as it's written. So I'm not going to legislate from the bench. I'll put it that way.
You have a range of punishment
Correct.
that you can give people. So are you going to be harsh on marijuana use or weak on it?
I would say that's going to depend on the amount and their criminal history. So that's something we always factor in whenever we're just deciding what to offer someone, for instance, in a plea bargain is. What do they do? How egregious is it? And then what is their background? What is their criminal history? And that's when we price it accordingly. So first-time offenders, yeah, you're more lenient. For somebody who's been, booked into the jail 12 times and incarcerated several times of those, yeah, we're going to be a little harsher. You know what the rules are and you break them, so.
Yeah, you've already been punished for it once.
Right.
So second, third, fourth time offenders, you're probably.
I can tell you, like when COVID hit, we're trying to keep people out of the jail. We're trying to keep people from coming to court. We're trying to stop the spread when everything first started. Mm-hmm. And one of the things my boss came up with was first-time offenders on DW or on possession of marijuana. You've never been in trouble before. You make a donation to the food bank, and we'll dismiss your case.
Really?
We did that. When we still do it occasionally for first-time offenders.
How many cases do you see? I mean, I know you're not in that area,
right?
At the county attorney's office, but how many these small possession cases are you seeing? Is it a growing problem? Is it even?
I would say it's probably growing just because of the amount of legalization that's going across the U.S., where people are bringing it from other states or having it shipped or whatever else. Mm-hmm. And it's not just the marijuana; it's the vapes and the edibles and all the other things that come with it. We're probably seeing more. The two county courts together hear about 3,000 misdemeanor cases a year. Mm-hmm. What percentage of those are POMs?
Is it 3,000 per court, or is it just 3,000
No,
total? 3,000
total, 1,500 per court.
I got you. Okay. All right. So another thing, and Sheriff David Jones, bless his soul.
Yeah.
He's the late David Jones, who's an iconic figure. The big, tall drink of water, Texas Ranger guy, kind of like the current sheriff we have now. Back in 2014, I did an interview with him, and he talked about how, and what had happened was a domestic violence situation had turned, tragic. Someone had killed their lover and then shot himself in a trailer, and then the next day the trailer burned up mysteriously, and this is out on the east side in the county. He was talking about domestic violence, and I asked him. I said, "Well, what do you do?" Well, first of all, at that time, I think about 60 to 70% of the calls for service from the sheriff's office were domestic violence related.
Wow, I wouldn't have guessed that high.
Yeah, and then and we looked at the police department back then. It was about 40 to 50%. So a lot of the calls for service and a lot of the stress on our economics or on our taxes, because we pay for public safety out of the county budget and out of the city budget, is domestic violence, and that's been your ring, right?
Yes,
since
sir.
At the thing. What do you see with domestic violence? In fact, last night we had a domestic violence situation turn tragic.
I was talking with your guys a little bit before you got here.
Yeah, but domestic violence is a problem. What do you see with domestic violence as far as when you, from a judge perspective, your job is to, I guess, you have to prosecute some of those things.
Yeah, so currently as the prosecutor, I wish I could say that what I'm doing has a deterrent effect, but I don't know that it does, because most of the time when people get into those sort of things, when that type of crime or incident occurs, it's heat of the moment. It is what it is. It's domestic violence. That's why we have so many special rules regarding domestic violence.
Mm-hmm. What's the special rule? Give an example.
It's one of the few cases where officers can make a warrantless arrest, where if they have probable cause to believe domestic violence has occurred and they're on scene, they can go on ahead and arrest whoever they think is the culpable party and take them to jail without a warrant.
So folks that are not understanding, a lot of the arrests that we do, like a grand jury indicts you for something, they create a warrant, and the warrant gives the police the right to go take away your freedom.
Correct.
Right? In a warrantless arrest, they don't have to go through a judge and get them to sign an arrest affidavit or what have you to go arrest you.
That's exactly right.
So a cop or sheriff or San Angelo Police Department or whoever can respond to a domestic violence situation and make a determination on the scene without having to go to a judge.
Exactly. Because if they have to leave and go wake up a judge in the middle of the night, because that's when a lot of these things happen, and then get a warrant and come back, by then things could have already escalated enough that we have a situation like what happened last night.
Right. What do you see as from a judge perspective? You know, if you're sitting in that seat, you won this election, you're sitting in that seat. How do you think you could do anything to impact or improve the domestic violence situation? Because I don't think it's gotten any better since I talked to David Jones back in 2014.
No, and sitting as a judge, I'd be sitting in much the same seat I'm sitting in now as an assistant county attorney. I'm dealing with it after it happens. So whatever I do is not going to have an impact in deterring it, I don't think. Not much of one. Most people that are going to commit that crime, they're going to do it regardless of whether they know they're going to get punished by me or not, or prosecuted by me or not.
Act of passion.
Most of the time, yeah. If what I do to impact to keep that from happening, live my life in a way that draws people to Jesus, and hopefully they don't ever get in that way to begin with.
Well, that's one thing. That's one thing David Jones said. He said, "This is not a law enforcement problem. This is a society problem. This is we need better moral guardrails in our society."
That is exactly
to prevent
right.
that from happening.
And I was having this conversation with some folks the other day. If I could court order people to church and to find Jesus, I would. But that's not how you come to Jesus. But that's the problem. People, it's a societal problem. David Jones hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. Well, he was kind of mad because he felt like the sheriff's department was taking the brunt of it because at the time he had that tragic situation, and he's saying, "Hey, this is not a law. It's not 100% law enforcement." I think the point was he couldn't solve it with law enforcement alone.
Right.
We can't solve this problem. All right. So we talked about drugs. We talked about domestic violence. What are your views on DWIs or DUIs, driving while intoxicated?
What are my views? It's against the law, and I'm against it.
Well, I mean, there's range of punishment for it.
Sure.
You can sign off on deferred adjudication and things like that.
Well, let's break it down. So you mentioned DWI, DUI. So
Okay.
DUI is usually driving under the influence that involves a minor, somebody that's under the age of 21, or actually under the age of 18. So those are usually handled by JP courts or municipal courts as traffic tickets, and that's usually where they belong. They can also be charged with DWI if they've reached the age of consent and they're actually intoxicated, not just under the influence, so 0.08 or higher. And I think the law is set up pretty well to handle them. Your first one's a Class B misdemeanor, your second one's a Class A, the next one's a third-degree felony, the next one's habitual felony, could be 25 to life.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people go to prison for third or more DWI. I follow the courts a lot, and I see people go to prison for it. I'm like, holy crap!
Right. I've sent a lot of people to prison for DWI third and fourth and fifth, and
yeah, and of course they'll go serve like 6 months to a year or something, and then they're back and they're on parole forever.
Sometimes when I first started, it seemed like they would hold them a little longer.
Really?
Yeah.
They're probably well, they don't want to fix all the air conditioning units at TDCJ, right? All right. Let's talk about campaigning. All right. I ran for office when you ran last time.
Right.
And, losing a race makes you think about, you go back and look and say, what did I do wrong? What could I do better next time? That kind of thing. What is it like to run a campaign? Tell me some of the biggest thing you're thinking about when you're running a campaign that's countywide here in Tom Green County.
Oh, man. Two main things. The one is just getting out there, getting your name out there, and getting people to know you, to find out who you are and what you're running for. Because, we're a county of 120,000 people, more or less. That election you and I ran in, there was around 11,000 votes. So, 10% of the population, right around?
Right.
So the first thing is just getting your name out there. And then after that, getting people to the polls. And I can't tell you which one is harder. They're both hard.
Yeah, I think they're both hard, really hard. I remember I knocked on 3,500 doors.
We did about that many as well.
And I went like in all these other areas that I thought that my enemy was not going to be, and those people ended up not voting. No one voted. No one votes on the north side of Tom Green County. I mean, a few, but
Right.
but it's not like Southland and College Hills out in the southwest side, Brentwood. I mean, almost every house there.
Yeah.
But well,
Somebody told me when I ran last time that 80% of your votes are going to come from below Loop 306.
yeah, I believe that. I believe that. But the other thing is interesting. This is an illustrative fact. Canyon Creek Street in Southland is probably the longest street in Southland.
I used to live on it.
And it takes, if you knocked on every door, it takes you half a day, like 5-6 hours.
Yeah.
And I did that because I was dedicated, and I decided that I don't care if they're a liberal or they're agnostic about voting or whatever. I'm a good salesman, and I get everyone to vote for me. So I knocked on every door. I worked at Canyon Creek really hard because that became kind of like my manifest destiny. I
Right.
can get the whole Canyon Creek, and so I did that. And not very. I mean, I didn't win that precinct, but I went and endorsed Lane Carter for judge, and I worked for him. And he had a dot on every house on Canyon Creek that voted, and it was basically skipping every fifth house. I mean, you do a house, skip 5 houses, do a house. And I said, why are we skipping all these houses? He goes, because if they didn't vote, and he had a dot for people who voted in the general or in the primary, and this was a runoff. He says if they didn't vote in the first election, there's only a 5% chance they're going to vote in the next election in the runoff.
Wow.
And so the only knock on the doors with the red dot. It took me 45 minutes to do a half day's worth of work doing Canyon Creek.
Yeah. I believe it.
Isn't that crazy?
It is.
And-
I'll tell you one thing about campaigning. Whenever you put your name out there and say you're going to run for something, everybody's got campaign advice, and a lot of it conflicts.
Of course it does. It's just like running a restaurant. I have the
ArcLight.
ArcLight. Everyone can run a restaurant. And then I had someone last night telling me you need more servers, and I'm like, no kidding. Find me people who want to work.
Right. There's help wanted signs all over this town.
Yeah, I mean, we have low unemployment. It's really difficult to find people to work. I mean, but they know better than you do sometimes because they don't see the numbers. They don't understand what you're going up against. But yeah, you're right. Everyone has advice for. I remember people would call me for campaign advice, and I'm like, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. Or sometimes the campaign advice wasn't any good. For example, I was told do not go negative. Right?
Okay.
So in our situation, and it's kind of the situation with your campaign right now, everybody's smiling and they're all trying to be nice to each other and they're trying to out-nice each other, right? And I don't have a reputation as a nice guy. I don't know why, because I am a very nice, I'm adorable. I'm so nice, right? And so I was trying to out-nice a bunch of nice guys, and I can't do it. And if I had to do it over again, I think I'd pretty much go full Trump and start giving everyone nicknames and and calling them out on their BS. I mean, I did a little bit during my campaign, but do you ever just want to just say stop, shut up, and just say that's a stupid idea to one of your opponents?
Oh, not really. I'm a more positive person than that.
Oh, come on, Leland. You don't just like go home and go, man.
My wife, on the other hand,
Your wife, she's the fighter, huh?
a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
I can fight when I have to, but certain things stick her a little bit more than they do me. I just think, whatever. It is what it is. It's a campaign. Things get nasty now and then. Just let it roll off your back.
Really?
Yep,
You let it roll off your back.
I am.
You're such a forgiving man.
Try to be.
All right, so this job is going to be permanent, pretty much. I mean, no one really gets unelected from a county court at law seat.
I don't know about permanent. I could always draw an opponent, but yeah, hopefully I'll keep it for a long time.
So if you win, you have to win it first.
Correct.
Yeah. So your view is to stick with it the entire time? You're not going to do this for 1 or 2 terms and say, hey, I think I'm going to go for the Texas Supreme Court or something, or the Third Court of Appeals.
No, San Angelo's my home, and the county court is where I want to be.
Okay.
I mean, I've practiced in district court. I've been to other courthouses. This is where I want to be.
You want to be there. You want to keep this job for as long as you can.
I do.
All right. Well, this is Leland Lacy. He's running for a county court at law #1 judge. Second time running for, which means you have a lot of experience running. And,
I do.
And he says if he's elected, he will stay there until he dies, or someone runs against him and kicks him out.
There you go.
Yeah. Election day is March 3rd. Early voting is ongoing right now.
That's correct.
So You can get down to the Keys building. I assume that's where the early voting is, and cast your ballot. Leland Lacy, County Court at Law #1. And Leland, thank you very much for coming on our show today.
Absolutely. Could I do one more plug?
Sure, one more plug.
So I've actually been endorsed by the San Angelo Association of Realtors and the San Angelo Police Officers PAC, and I'm very thankful for their endorsement.
That means you got a lot of money.
I got some. I got a lot of signs to pay for, too.
That's true. It's expensive to run for office.
It is.
All right, back to you guys.
Into the news, after more than 25 years with the city of San Angelo, Parks and Rec Director Carl White has announced he will retire at the end of the year. White joined the city in 2000 as Parks Superintendent and became Parks and Rec Director in 2005. He said he remains committed to his role through the end of his tenure and will assist in recruiting and transitioning to his successor. And a San Angelo woman, 29-year-old Samantha Ramirez, was arrested after allegedly biting off part of a victim's left ring finger during a fight on North Schroeder Avenue on February 21, 2026. Police said the victim was trying to break up a fight between Ramirez and another woman when the injury occurred. And medics were unable to attach the severed portion of the finger, to reattach the severed portion of the finger. Ramirez was charged with assault causing serious bodily injury, booked into Tom Green County Jail, and later released on a $100,000 bond. And the San Angelo Stock Show and Rodeo has announced its 2026 live music lineup for the Buffalo Social Club, also known as the Beer Barn, featuring emerging Texas artists on the Lone River stage. Performances will run throughout the rodeo, which will take place April 3rd through the 19th, and are designed to serve as an after-party experience following daily events. The lineup includes Grant Gilbert, Sterling Elza, Austin Meade, Dalton Torres, Hayden Baker, Case Harden, our own Case Harden, David Lewis, and the Tejano Sunday performance by Evolution. And as of Monday morning, 3,743 voters have cast early ballots in Tom Green County for the March 3rd primary election. Early voting continues through February 27th at 5 locations, including the main site at the Ed B. Keys building and 4 branch locations across the county. In San Angelo, we have Todd Smith and Chad Decker running for County Commissioner for Precinct 2, Leland Lacy, Jana Johnson, and Jessica Skinner running for County Court at Law #1, and Christina Ubando and Lauren Barone running for County Clerk. And we'll get into the weather after this message from Jay Chandler.
It's hard to believe how reckless some people can be and how hard they fight against real victims. You need a partner who consistently beats the giants and who will never, ever flinch.
Into the weather, the week starts off a little cool, but it warms up by the end of the week. Right now it's 65 degrees outside and the low tonight comes in around 40. Tomorrow could be a bit breezy with wind gusts up to about 30 miles an hour. The high also starts to climb up. It's going to be 78, and then the low tomorrow night will be 51. On Wednesday, it'll be the warmest day of the week, but still a really nice day. It's at 87. Those winds should die down a little bit to around 20 miles an hour, and the low drops to 55. And then on Thursday and Friday, the highs will be around the 80-degree mark, and the lows will be in the mid to high 40s and low 50s. And we'll be right back after this word from Condos, Diamonds, and Coins.
When it comes to unique pieces you can't find anywhere else, Condos, Diamonds, and Coins is your one-stop shop. With over 24 years in the diamond and coin industry, Condos, Diamonds, and Coins is West Texas's choice for diamonds, jewelry, coins, silver, and gold. Owner Bill Cano stands by his work and offers free consultations, including estate jewelry. Don't just trust anyone with your valuables. Come see the staff at Cano's at 1016 West Beauregard in San Angelo.
Thank you for watching the Live Daily News Show, the only locally owned news show in the Concho Valley. Follow us on Facebook, X, and other social media platforms, and download the San Angelo Live mobile app. For the live team, I'm James Bouligny, and we'll see you tomorrow.